Hey yo 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 man. Okay. So we're gonna be looking at how a New York Times article from January 1977, so very old article, and it's here. Um, it was a newspaper, but it's been digitalized. Um, it's pretty long. I want to see if I can. Is that what it says? Okay. Says about the article. This is a digitalized version of an article from the Times print archive. So they started online publication in '96, and this is the original article. So, oh my God. Okay. So it says, although they are within a year of being eligible to vote, 47% of the country's 17-year-olds do not know such a basic fact as that each state has 2 United States senators, according to a survey by the National Assessment of Educational Progress. The National Assessment of Educational Process. The survey of political knowledge and attitudes of young people 13 and 17 years old, part of the federal government's largest continuing educational research project. It disclosed many gaps in the students' understanding of the government. It's gotten worse. I mean, if in not 96, in 77, you expected people to be politically and intelligent about their government, then imagine now people are completely clueless about what they're supposed to do, and um, the government promotes this. They like people becoming stupider and stupider every year. Um, you know, people are becoming retarded about the law. Um, their familiarity with the role of the United Nations was quite limited. Ask a 17-year-old or like a 15-year-old what the United Nations does. Probably don't know. No, it's like, take this as inspiration, Back then in the 70s and 60s, they had very high standards for people. So, I personally don't know the government either. I don't know what the United Nations does. So, it's just, um, you have to learn about the government, because the way that we're brought up in today's society is retarded. Um, Main findings listed. Following are some of the main findings of the survey, which was administered to a representative of students and so more than half, so like over 50% of the 13-year-olds could not correctly answer a question that required an understanding of the significance of the Fifth Amendment's protection against self-incrimination. And I do have a constitution here, so I want to show you this. So the Fifth Amendment, I'll read the Fifth Amendment here. It says, um, the no, this is the Fifth Amendment. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia, when in actual service in time of war or public danger. Okay, I'm reading that poorly. No person shall be held to answer for capital or otherwise infamous crime, unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia, when in actual service in time of war or public danger. Nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb. Nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of a life or limb. Jeopardy of life or limb. That's a good one. You know, life or limbs. You know, so when a cop slams you to the ground, you gotta say life or limb, right? Nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be witness against himself. Nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself. Okay? So that's about saying exhibits or evidence against yourself. Nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Hey, you see that right there? Nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Think about that. Think about that for a second. You cannot be shot. You cannot be killed. You cannot be killed without due process of the law. You cannot be imprisoned or kept away from freedom without due process of law. And you cannot have property taken away from you without due process of the law. So, the Fifth Amendment could say that, okay, let's continue. Nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. The government is not allowed to take private property and use it for the public. Where do people do this? Where has this been done? I don't know. I can't think of an example. But yeah, that's the Fifth Amendment. Right there. Okay, so let's continue on the New York Times article here. New York Times article. Okay. I would like to see this question actually because, you know, what kind of stuff do they have here, you know? Like, they don't actually tell you the question. One of every 8 17-year-olds believes that the president is not required to obey the law. The president is required to obey the law, guys. And 1 in every 2 students at either age believes that the president can appoint members of Congress. I don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. What the fuck is a Congress? And I'm not gonna do any Google searching here, but the 13-year-olds think that it start a new political party. They're asking 13-year-olds these questions? Jesus Christ. I mean, this is what they expected a 13-year-old kid to know about. A 13-year-old. 13-year-olds are fucking retarded on TikTok. Whereas in the 70s, they expected kids to know a lot about the government. More than half the students think that the United Nations can limit the price of oil that is sold by member nation, and that the organization can order its member countries to stop. They even expected kids and teenagers to know about oil politics. I mean, even fucking a lot of adults don't know about oil politics. I mean, granted, it's become a little bit more complicated, but, you know. Okay, next one. 90% of all the students question, 90% question believe that a family should be able to move into a part of town where people of a different skin color live. A family should be able to move into a part of town where live, and no more than 4% of the students believe that men's vote should counts more than women's votes. 4% of students believe that men's votes counted more than women's votes. Was that a thing? When was the women's rights era? They had this is about racism and this and that. So it looks like the students were dumbed down, and they believed in stuff like that was more important and more like protest kind of things. You know, they didn't really know so much about oil, but they knew a lot about the whole women's rights and uh, black people and stuff. So the National Assessment reports its finding with little interpretation, but political scientists said in interviews that the survey results serve to reinforce their concerns about the inadequate background that many students and adults have regarding government. We do know that there is a considerable lack of knowledge about the government on the part of the general population, and that is not confined. Yup. Okay. Among 17-year-olds, 29% did not know that local governments usually do not make laws about military services, and that the same proportion did not know that local governments usually operate public, elementary, and high schools. It's the local government here. So yeah, teenagers back then were actually more connected to their local government, not so much the federal government though, or like the state government, more like their local town stuff. %20 of 17-year-olds thought that the United States was the only country that had political parties. Huh. Did not know that a court could decide whether a woman had unfairly denied a job that a man had gotten. Okay, so police related one here. Suppose a person had just been arrested because the police have evidence that he has stolen some money. Okay. Look at the rights listed below. Decide which rights the accused person has now that he is under arrest. So what rights does this person have when he's under arrest? So they even had police related stuff here too. Civil rights when you're arrested. Very high proportions of the students knew that the accused person had the right to have a lawyer represent him, to know what he was accused of. You see, you have to know what you're accused of. Could remain silent when the police questioned him. And did not have the right to go free if he returned the stolen money. So, television is blamed for educational deficiencies. Possibly. Is the computer causing educational deficiency? Dr. Howard D. Mindlinger. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I think that's it for here.